this is your sort of start point in Sarria. There, your first set of steps. That's a really nice Camino shop to get any bits and pieces, but get them the night before. You don't want to carry them with you to Porto Marine. And you just start walking up there and walk up and up, and there's the nice coffee shops up there if you want to get breakfast. We're in Camino. In a few minutes you're walking along by the railway line and you're sort of into the nice Camino walk next to the, I think it's the cornfields, is that corn? This is lovely. Then come into the first quite a big drag coming out. So this is your first bit of cardio. Sort of goes on and on a little bit, as you can hear from my breath. I think you get a feel for the incline, but it's interesting. Good luck. Come out of the hill into the open fields, which is really nice, and you can start to anticipate the first coffee stop where you get your latte and your ibuprofen hit, or paracetamol, your drug of choice. And eventually you start getting used to seeing these. This is another way marker. That's 111. So it slowly starts to go down. First big one that people look for is the 100k mark, which is broadly normally covered in graffiti, but it's quite a nice one to get to because it's a real iconic one to hit. You can see the track. It's a well-worn track, so it's very easy to walk on. There's no sort of rubbles or anything you're going to really trip over. If you're wearing sandals, there's a chance of getting the little stones underneath your feet, but very safe for walking. You know, unless you're lean, there's no chance of tripping over. Enjoy. Maybe 25 minutes out of town, we hit our first albergue. You can get your coffee. Good thing is it's on a road, so if there's any injuries early on or any discomforts, then you better crash here and call your cab. And you can get your first stamp of your credential. This is Casa Barbadeo, which looks really nice. I've never been in there. Yeah. So that's it, and I think there's another one just around the corner as well, where you can top up on your t-shirts and goodies and stuff if you need them. So this is the village of Barbadeo. It's a nice initial break point just to regroup and get your coffees in. It always amazes me just how many single women you see walking. But part of the reason for that is if you look ahead, you see pilgrims. If you look behind, there's pilgrims. So generally, you know, you're not going to be alone. It's incredibly safe, and that's the great thing about it. So you're surrounded by really nice people, with lots of really nice restaurants and coffee, and not too much cake and tortilla. This is on to road walking now, and this is just quite a long, slow drag out of Sarria. But people take it incredibly slow. They're not racing it because there's no rush. This is at 109 kilometres marker, and it's still going up, but it's not ball breaking up. You know, it's just take it easy and slow, and then look forward to the next coffee and ibuprofen. Okay, so we've hit the 108 marker. That's where the initial ascent has sort of stopped. We're now onto a semi-flat, but the rest of it will just be sort of ups and downs effectively. But that's at the 108 is where the first big rise evens out. So 107 now, and it's just you're walking through the countryside really. It's just lovely. Yeah, it's just really nice walk. Still sort of country roads. We're up to 105 marker, just past a little cafe up there. If you have needs, I'm rolling on to another one a bit further on that stopped at before that I really liked. And you can see it's just beautiful. It's just lovely. Yeah, I'm off for my second breakfast because it's been a long walk so far. Because I've walked from the village before Sarria, so I'm starving. These little hamlets, which are all still working areas. You know, they're not sort of tourist traps. They are very much underpinning the Galician economy, I think, with there's a lot of cows and milk production around. They're really, really nice. The pace most people walk at, they're not exactly racing. It's quite chilled. Ah, buen camino.
Gracias. Comida.
Yeah, it's bueno. Para mí?
Tortilla de patata. ¿Quieres un poquito ahí?
No, it's like el burger.
No,
Anyway, this is the 101 marker. It just gives you a sense still of the beautiful sort of scenery still walking through. It really is lovely. And then on we go to the next part. Sun just breaking over. Absolutely beautiful morning. Stunning. So this is still the road to Porto Marine. This is sort of, as you can see, it's still a nicely kept path. They seem to maintain it. It's just a lovely route. The guy here's got his guitar, which is making me yearn to wish I had mine. This is about an hour or so outside of Porto Marine. This is 97k mark. Just going through lots of little hamlets, which are really nice. No major hills so far, just undulations, I guess. But it's lovely. This is the road leading to Porto Marine. It's a lovely surface, no problems with it at all. Yeah, lovely scenery still. This is a lovely place to just pop in and say hi. It's the American couple have taken it over. It's absolutely beautiful. Really, really nice. Hey there! These are all the cyclists that go racing through and ring their bell and expect to get out of the through hamlet, small hamlet, and there's some lovely little bars and places to stop there. As you come down, you'll come to a marker here, and that's Porto Marine over there, and it's shrouded in mist at the moment. And this is really important here. You come to this board and you can take a left or a right turn. They both take you into Porto Marine. Do not turn left, because that one is like a valley of death and you'll hurt your knees. Take the blue one and turn right. So you can see here, there's a left or right marker. I'll say again, do not turn left. Make sure you turn right. It's really important. This is the 93 kilometre mark. As long as you've taken the right turn up the top, you come down, come around here, and you'll come to the bridge. This leads you into Porto Marine. It's shrouded in mist at the moment. You get when you come, it probably won't be shrouded in mist. It'll be lovely, and you'll be able to get a lovely view looking down the river. Come across the bridge. Come across these wonderful stairs. They don't look that big, but they're not actually that big. But at the end of the walk from Sarria, it's actually the last thing you want to do. But it's a real hope, because you just walk up those, take a right, and you're into Porto Marine. And you can just drink wine, eat pizza, and chill, which is really lovely. That's the end of your first stage. The other side of the bridge, there's a left or right marker. You have a choice which way you can go. I think the standard way is right. The app tends to recommend right, so that's the way I'm going. But you get this on the Camino, you sometimes get left and right options, but if you just look at the app, it'll just show you and you can make a choice. This is another little hamlet, nice place to meet, and a few coffee shops. Coffee, cake and ice cream. I think I'm going to have an ice cream now, because I deserve one. Don't forget to stop, you want 2 of these a day to get your Compostela. As long as you get 2 from the coffee shops on where you stop, make sure you've got your pilgrim record and you'll be fine. Said coffee and ice cream. The wonderful thing with Camino is you just get these fairly regular, lovely stop points. There's coffee shops, albergues. They're not expensive, and it's just a lovely, lovely experience. Start to see the popularity of this stage now. You see how many pilgrims up there. You know, it's not always like this, but certainly I think just after the coffee shop it picks up. Again, it's another example of you're walking along the road and you're coming across these lovely places just to stop and chill. Really, really nice. This is Palais de Rey. Not a lot here, just a few bars. There's a supermercado. But yeah, it's one of those typical sort of Camino towns. It's a place to get drunk and just be social, I guess. As we leave Palais de Rey, there's a little bit of mixture of walking next to the road, and then we branch a left and just walking through some woods, which is all very nice. Assuming it's not pissing down with rain, which is obviously it's always an option, but this is lovely. It's an hour outside Palais de Rey, still a good path, very rural, lovely walk, no major hills, so it's very doable. If you walk through Galicia, you see lots of these, I forget what they're called, but I think they're grain stores to stop the rats getting the grain. You see loads of them everywhere. The road out of Palais de Rey is okay. It's so far so good. I did a long day yesterday. It was about 40k, and I put my shoe on this morning at that first little whisper of a little hot spot. So I immediately put a Compede on, and that seems to have done it. And I think so. That's the lesson. Any sign of any hot spot or any trigger, then protect it immediately, and hopefully be okay. One of the really good things about the Camino is just the signs everywhere. It's hard to get lost. I've managed to take about 3 wrong turnings just from listening to music and just enjoying myself. And the other tip is, there's no little cafe bar, just getting fairly regular now. Carry a small roll of loo paper with you, because the amount of use the toilet gets, it's very easy to get in there. And then when you finish, look for your toilet paper and there's nothing there. So obviously in peak time they get absolutely banged out. Another little cafe. You can see, really nice places. This is some road walking now. I think the closer we get to Santiago, it tends to be a little bit more road walking. I think one thing, when you're doing your prep for Camino, you might be doing lots and lots of walking, and your foot will get used to it to try and avoid the blisters. But what happens when you get a lot of these uneven surfaces, what I find is the tensioning and the impact points come in totally different places on your feet. So as much as possible for your prep, try and find some uneven areas. I've noticed it just from all my walking is road walking, and coming here, the hot spot I got this morning was from a place I would never get it on road walking. It was just on the side of the foot. So the prep on uneven is really quite important, I think. There was a girl yesterday I noticed, she had a blister, so she had to get a cab. And when you walk a Camino, you often see these sort of taxi signs up, because they know people will need help. So just keep an eye out if you get a problem. You know, in most cases you can get a cab from somewhere, but hopefully that won't happen. This is at the 57 mark now, just another small hamlet. I think one of the things that all the books and the films tell you, and you have to sort of, I finally get it now, is that as you walk Camino, what happens is the stages and the albergues or the hostels all sort of merge into one, and it's hard to place what you did where. But what you kind of don't lose is the people you meet, you know. And while I've forgotten where I stopped, I haven't forgotten the people I've met and the conversations I've had, and that's the really nice thing about Camino is, you know, just the opportunity to talk to people. You know, Rusty from America, 2 German ladies. I met this English couple, and they walked from Seville in sandals. Fucking sandals, jeez. You know, and so it's worthwhile. Just one of the downsides of walking with a group is it can be insular. So try and just have those conversations, because there's some incredible people on Camino, all with very very different stories. So yeah, enjoy. This, which is really lovely. A small bar there, which may be your first or your second breakfast. Come out of Malid, you come down just a normal road. And me and John wandered down here, and we wandered on for ages until someone pointed out we'd totally missed the turning. So a few hundred metres down on the right hand side, it's not a huge sign, there's a little arrow there, there's one over there, but if you're gabbing with each other you won't see it, so you take a right down here. Highly recommend a sock change. I'm doing this after a couple of hours, just once the feet start getting sweaty, because the danger is that's when the blisters can occur. So carry a pair of socks and put the other ones maybe on your backpack to dry off, and then you can just rotate them. But certainly a sock change is really important. Out of my lead, and we come to a left or right decision. I think the recommended one is the right. That's the one I've taken before. The map shows the difference. I'm not quite sure what the difference is, but most people seem to go right. From memory, it's quite a pretty route. Yeah, the right hand is a nice way to go. It's also, if it's a hot day, it's very cool because it's covered by the trees. So yeah, this is lovely. I mean, it's a lot cooler than it was out there. That just gives you a flavour of what you'll be walking through. Going through the right-hand fault. This is I think a classic place to take some pictures, which is it's a lovely stone bridge. If your feet are hot, it's a nice place to cool them off. If you've got a nice bottle of wine, you can cool that off in there. But this is lovely. Oops, nearly fell in then. You can get a sense, I've said this before, but the speed at which a lot of the pilgrims go is not fast. You know, they're not exactly racing up. They're just taking it easy. So it's not a race. They just go at their own pace, and do their own distance, and have their own Camino. And this is all quite a nice little stage point. You've actually broken your 50k marks. We're at 49.8. So that's quite nice. And again, this is another example. It's just walking through a lovely area, and you come across basically someone just opened a cafe in their back garden. And I think there's a stand up there where you can just get drinks and things. So let's can have a look at that. Here they've literally just got a shed on the Camino, and they're just selling fruit and drink and things, which is really nice. A lovely range of stuff here. I don't know, there's a liquor, I don't know what that is. And then you can...
Tarta de Santiago.
And ¿Conde es?
Es licor de raspberry.
Ah, raspberry liquor, there you go. Okay, and then you can also get your stamp here as well, which is really nice. Another nice rest point, you can bathe your feet. It's the bottom of quite a long hill that comes down, and from memory, it's quite a drawn out hill that goes up, so possibly pausing for a time to rest your feet might be worthwhile here. And you can take pictures of cows. Yes, it's around the 45.6 marker. It's quite a long drag coming up from here, and then it carries on, so just bear that in mind really. I've never stopped here, but this is a beautiful looking albergue. Just sitting right by the river Iso, I'm not quite sure what it is. There's a couple of places to stop here. That's absolutely lovely. Yeah, the walk up into Azura is quite a long drag. So the first thing is you don't want to be doing it really, and if it's a hot day after 1 or 2 o'clock, because the sun gets really hot, and I did that once and it was quite hot. There's not a lot of shade, and if you hit the hamlet before, which is the one in the video of the albergue next to the river, and you've got any twinges with your knees or anything like that, then just jump in a cab, get into the cab and bring you up into Azure, because it's okay, but if you've got any potential injuries, it's a hill you might want to avoid. That's all. I wouldn't say Azure is a particularly interesting town. It's sort of a one big through road, but yeah, there's plenty of albergues, hotels, bars, cafes, so it's an okay place to crash, but I don't think there's a great deal to see here, or if there is, I don't think I've seen it. But just part of the journey. This is a lovely cafe, sit and chill. This is the cafeteria Casqueiros, I think it is. It's just in the main drag. Ordered my bocadillo and cafe con leche. I wouldn't say it's everywhere on the Camino, but certainly my experience is quite a lot of the time when you order a bocadillo, it's certainly a beast. I'm not sure if you can see the size of that, but that's my hand. It's absolutely massive. It's just, yeah, you don't eat a lot. Order one between two. As you come out of Azure, back into a nice forest walk, which is cool and it's hot. I think this stage is relatively hill-free. Maybe 20 minutes or so outside Azure is a lovely little cafe just to chill if you're ready for a break. Just lots of space, it's really nice around here. Nice area, another little hamlet. There was two bars up there, I think, a little hostel. There's another bar there, which is quite amazing. You can see you have just basically all made up of beer bottles, which is pretty worth a visit. Some piece of artwork. End of the day review. I said this morning about a very minor hotspot, and I whacked the compede on. Did 35k today, fully loaded, no problems at all. So I really recommend that. Test your feet in the morning. Any hot spots, stick something on straight away before the fluid builds up. Morning. Just one of the things to be aware of, it's not all of them, but because a lot of the places where people stay on the Camino is built for walkers who get up early and out, they don't get hot water in the morning. So unless you like cold showers, the assumption is you get up and out and don't have a shave, just have a wash. It's just not all of them, but there's some of them where it's geared up for walkers, and you often don't get hot water in the morning. Something to be aware of. This is Sarria on the way to Pedruso, which is sort of final stage before Santiago. You sometimes get a little bit of road walking, and then it cuts back into the forest or off the road. And where it is road walking, it's safe. It's not like you're not going to be mowed down by an articulated lorry. As you can see, there's a wide area to walk in here, and then I think in about 100 metres it then kicks off into the forest. So it's very, very safe in that sense. There's a coffee shop, but unfortunately it's closed. Oh, the place I stopped last night, just as a side story, apparently Martin Sheen stopped there when they filmed The Way, at the roadside cafe, and to be honest, one of the great pleasures for me of the Camino is the early morning breakfast. We just get to chat with the other pilgrims. I'm not a great one for talking when I'm walking. I just over breakfast this morning, just met some strangers and had amazing conversations just about where they're from. And it's lovely. See, it's a lovely part of the Camino, and it's important to try and make time for it. Yeah, so it's a little bit of road walking, keep an eye out for the sign, and then it branches off back into the woods again. So it's a nice balance. The road walking gives the feet a rest as well. It's a nice flat surface. I think one of the other really nice things is how uncommercialised the Camino is. You won't see a McDonald's, you won't see a KFC, you won't see a Subway, you won't see hoardings trying to sell you stuff. which is strange bearing in mind at its peak you can get maybe something like 2,000 people passing through. And where there are food stops, it's often just people opening up their back garden just to make some money. But there's no hard sell, there's nothing. You might see some odd t-shirts or trinkets, but it's incredibly uncommercialised, which is absolutely lovely. There's no sense of anyone trying to take your money. The Spanish people are all just lovely on the Camino. And interestingly, although you're walking through these hamlets, I've never had any negative response to the people that live there. They always get a buen Camino from them. It is so warm. It really is nice coming out here into the woods. The sun's starting to rise. It's a lovely early morning walk. I'm going up a hill, so a little bit out of breath. The other thing I just noticed, which is really nice, is you've got a bin there, and it's really amazing because people put things in the bin, whereas in Essex they tend to be surrounding the bin, and you don't really see rubbish. It's incredibly clean. You know, people are very respectful of it. Yeah, just another nice part of the Camino. Whenever you get to the junction, always just make sure you check for the marker. And ideally look for the official marker, because there are just occasionally, if a local wants to pull some people into their garden for a coffee, they're around the back of the hamlet, they might sort of paint an extra arrow. Okay, this is really nice. What you will get when you're doing the sort of road walking, you get these sort of sign stands to cross over. Most of the roads are incredibly quiet. You do get some traffic, but just use common sense. And this is switching over the interconnection to the other side to hit the woods off in a different direction. Yeah, just use your sensibilities and be careful out there. Route to Pedrusio is relatively easy. Quite a lot of tracking alongside the road, but either on a side path or as you can see coming up, it'll veer off to go through the woods and drift in and out. It's broadly downhill, no major uphills, so it's quite an easy route. And the nice thing with that stop is, I think it's approximately 20-ish k outside of Santiago, so people tend to stop there as the last stop, and then they can get up early, get into Santiago, spend the afternoon in Santiago and hit the Pilgrim's Mass if they want as well. It's a really lovely way to end the Camino. There's a small hamlet, so you've got one house which looks lovely, and opposite that is one that's, I think you can assume it's derelict, with lovely land back onto the woods, and it's sort of quite near Santiago, so maybe I need to save some pennies up. Just wandering along, reflecting, and the saying, fail to prepare to fail comes to mind. When I first started playing double bass in a bluegrass band, I've never played double bass before. Bought the double bass, and I got blisters on my fingers. My fingers were ripped to shreds. I was almost in tears. But you had to keep on playing because you're doing like a 3-hour barn dance, and you need the bass. And the blisters came because I just didn't do any preparation. I went from zero to hero. And you do get a few cases of people on Camino having real feet problems. And I generally, if we don't prepare for Camino by just doing regular walking on a variety of surfaces before we come, then there's every chance you're going to have blisters. The one time I got them bad was when I stupidly put a pair of shoes on that I hadn't walked in, and within 3 hours I had this massive blister. And once it's there, it doesn't go, you know. You're then into real either piercing it, which on one Camino I had to have someone put a needle through it for me, which was fun. Or you just have to rest it. There was a girl yesterday who had to sort of rest, and I think she probably lost a day walking. So you just can't stress enough really about it. It really is about preparation. If the preparation's done in, then it's a really, really enjoyable journey. You know, there's no need for blisters really. That's my reflection for the day. I need a coffee now. I guess another reflection is on the notion of walking sticks. For this stage of the Camino, I'm not convinced. There's no real steep, rocky ascents. The stage before this there is, and you need sticks. And in all honesty, most people I see using sticks actually don't use them properly. They're almost dragging them behind them. They're giving no support. I think if you want to use a stick to support your frame or take the load off your knee, then you watch some videos about how to use them properly. Because seriously, you just see so many people, they just drag them behind them, and it's just more weight to carry. It's adding no real value. That's my thought. But you do see lots and lots of people carrying sticks, and I mean carrying, not using. So it's just a pointless exercise. I think interestingly, there's a local lady, and you can see that, and she's using a stick properly because she needs to. So that's, and you compare that to the woman in front. But it's just they're in no value at all. So that's my thought for what it's worth. But one of the joys of Camino is in emerging from the mists is this oasis of a coffee shop. It's just joyful. So it's time, and this one's in a lovely setting. As you can see, but it's time for coffee and the Camino second breakfast, which is absolutely wonderful. I've been here before. This is a really nice place. They last time I was here, they were playing some really cool music. So let's hope they're still doing that.
Un zumo de naranja natural. Un zumo de naranja natural.
Always find there's generally Wi-Fi accessible. And also with most of these places outside, there's a stamp. Make sure you get your 2 a day and date it so you can get your Compostela when you get to Santiago. This is got a lovely setting. And this will generally fill up the pilgrims as the day goes on. Adios. Hasta luego. See you in Santiago.
Okay,
See ya. Bye.
Buen camino.
Adios. Maybe 12, 13k, maybe 14k before you get to Santiago. It's a reasonable drag coming up, but it's not overly steep, so you just sort of plod along, lots of water breaks, and it's not, I don't think it's a big issue. It certainly doesn't have that real steepness that can be really hard cardio or hard on the knees, but just be aware of that. The great thing is at the end of it you've got this little stall just with the guy sitting, and he's got some fruit and stuff like that. It just pops up in the middle of nowhere. And you can get your stamp as well, so it's lovely. Buenos dias. No, so eventually you come out of the woods. I guess the harshest bit of the Camino is you end up, as you're approaching Santiago, you walk around the airport, which seems really strange after a few days in the wildness of Galicia, and then you walk through some relatively dense urban area, but that's just the precursor to the lovely experience of actually walking into Santiago and hitting the plaza. So you maybe got an hour of just grind, but it's worth it when you get there. This is, let me have a look, see how far it is. Yeah, the airport is just coming up here. Let's have a look. Yes, it's 13 kilometres away. So, yeah, 2.5, maybe 3 hours. And then we're into Santiago. And more coffee, more cake, and lots of jollies. After walking up that hill earlier, and then walking just around by the airport, so we break away from it, and you're possibly ready for a stop, and there's a nice little cafe bar just as you break away from the airport that is be a nice place to stop and just a natural point after the hill and the crappy airport walk. past that bar, there's a lovely church here, which it looks like there's another coffee shop there, and I think you can get your stamp in the church. I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, there's a nice coffee bar there. And then you break away left, and off we go again, and I think from memory we hit another nice little hill after you're refreshed with your coffee and cake. You just take it easy. It's a nice area. It's a nice little hill there. I'm not sure how long it goes on for, but it's a bit steeper than some of the others. Hill's at 12 kilometres out from Santiago. One of the big things for me is that as well as changing socks, what I've done is after walking for a while, I've switched from shoes to sandals, and I find this incredible relief, and it makes, yeah, just alternating between both socks and then shoes really helps my feet. Okay, we've hit the 10k mark. It's quite a nice little stream here. If it's hot, if you want to refresh your feet, lovely space. And we're about to embark, I think it's on the last big hill. We shall see. 10k, we hit quite a long drag. The road's good, it's not stony or anything, so it's just a case of taking it slow and enjoy the final 10k walk into Santiago. As you can see, people they're just taking their time. The top of that last drag, there's a nice little cafe here, which is well worth a visit, and toilets as well, which is always a useful thing, because earlier on when there's less people it's easier to nip out into the woods to do a quick wee, but when there's so many people around it's a bit harder. Buen camino.
Buen camino.
Es bueno.
Bueno.
Yeah, it's good. Kind of this is probably the highest spot that we're gonna walk. It's all pretty much downhill now, and you can start to see Santiago in the distance. So as you enter Santiago, you've got maybe 15-20 minutes just walking through the commercial sector. It's this lovely bunch of all the pilgrims because everyone's sort of arriving, and then that takes you through into the old town and to the cathedral. You catch sight of the spires of the cathedral in the distance, which is really nice. Depending which way you come in, you come through this road or the road over there, and then there's a zebra crossing which then will take you through to your hotels and to the square, whichever you choose to do. When you're in Santiago, sort of wind your way through the streets. You know where the square is, it's where people are headed. Bits of it's tense sometimes. I've seen this guy before, he's really good. once you're here, there's lots and lots of trinkets and toys and things to buy that you all well deserve. There's at least 3, maybe 4 ways to get into the plaza. Through this arch is often quite nice, and there's sometimes a bagpipe player playing. I don't think he's... Oh, there he is, yeah. Which is quite nice. It's just warming up. And then you go to swear. Some wonderful back streets where there's loads and loads of lovely food, shops to buy crap, and there's some more food and some more coffee. I'm off to have some coffee and some lovely Spanish food, followed by cake.
Moitas veces podes ver as diferenzas físicas entre o home e a muller. Por iso temos que estar co corazón.
If you want to get your Compostela, that's the cathedral up there. You come down a little ramp down the side. You come down here. Down the steps, take a right, and down there is the office for the Compostela. Well, I made it. A couple of reflections. First one is shooting socks. I just can't stress how important it is not just to get them, but to wear them in and wear them in and wear them in. You know, the lesson for me and lots of people. Thank you. Gracias. Oh, cocones, dale. Muy bien, gracias. Sí, thank you. Lots of food. And getting a blister on one of these Caminos is dire, emotionally, physically, it's awful. To wear them in. I think the second thing is stretching. There's a real danger. You come and sleep in a new bed and you get up and the first thing you do in the morning is dumping your body up to a hill and you're carrying a bag. And I've stretched every day and I've just really felt the benefit. So whatever stretching you do, if you get up in the morning, definitely work on your hips. More. Mass. Mass. Oh, Spanish. Tortilla. No, it's belly. Thank you. So I've worked primarily with stretches on my hips and my waist and my lumbar region, and sort of 300 kilometres in, 31k a day or whatever, in fine. So I can't say how much it's important that you stretch in the morning, but also when you get back, do some stretches just to release the muscles because they will be tight. And I think a really important one, be social. I've forgotten probably every single place I've stopped at, all the Caminos, everywhere I've stopped, but I've never forgotten the people. Walk up and just start talking to people and say, this is a journey, they enjoying it. And I've met some amazing people just on this trip, and I won't forget those. I won't forget the people. So that's incredibly powerful. For me, more and more the Camino is just about meeting people. A couple of other things, the Spanish are stunning. They love the Camino, it's important to them, not commercially, but it's important. What village you go through, if you say buenos dias, someone will answer back and they normally say buen Camino. So they get the Camino and they get the point of it. And I think finally, it's just incredibly safe. I can't, the number of single women, I think there's probably more single women than men. The Sarria to Santiago is incredibly safe. So have fun. My omelette, cocones, salad, cabbage on leche, probably another cabbage on leche. Bye. I guess it's kind of like the best ever family party you've been to, but it just happens every day. It's just this boundless energy and good spirit, without the benefit of drugs or drink. Can't get much better than that. Buen camino.